Imagine a boy lost in his thoughts, bullied at school, beaten so badly one day that he had to be hospitalized. Now imagine that same boy growing up to become the man who shook the world's biggest industries: automotive, aerospace, energy, even the internet. This is not fiction. This is the story of Elon Musk. The man who slept on factory floors, burned through his last dollar, and still dared to launch a rocket into space when everyone else told him he was insane. This is not just a story about success. This is a story about obsession, pain, courage, and the refusal to ever back down. Childhood. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. He wasn't like the other kids. While most children played outside, Elon was reading encyclopedias, covering entire volumes before breakfast. He was a loner, a thinker, an outsider who didn't fit in. He had a rough childhood. His parents divorced when he was 9. His father, Elon Musk, was a brilliant engineer, but emotionally distant and often cruel. Elon would later describe his relationship with his father as painful and full of trauma. At school, things weren't much better. He was small, awkward, and deeply introverted. Other kids bullied him relentlessly. One day, they threw him down a flight of stairs and beat him unconscious. He was hospitalized. And yet, he never complained. He just went back to his books. He found solace in science fiction: Asimov, Heinlein, Clarke. Their visions of a futuristic world became his escape, and eventually, his blueprint for reality. By age 12, Elon had taught himself programming. He sold his first video game for $500. The spark had been lit. But no one, not even Elon, knew how far it would burn. Key turning points. At 17, Elon left South Africa. He didn't want to serve in the apartheid-era military. He wanted freedom, opportunity. He moved to Canada with just a backpack and a few $1,000s. He worked at farms, lumber mills, cleaned boilers, whatever paid the bills. But he kept dreaming bigger. Eventually, he made his way to the University of Pennsylvania in the U.S. He studied physics and economics. But more than textbooks, it was the internet that fascinated him. It was the mid-90s. The internet was the Wild West. While others saw fad, Elon saw revolution. In 1995, he dropped out of a PhD program at Stanford after just 2 days. He had an idea. With his brother Kimball, he launched Zip2, the digital city guide for newspapers. They slept in their office, showered at the YMCA, coded day and night. 4 years later, Compaq bought Zip2 for $307 million. Elon walked away with $22 million. At 27 years old, he was a millionaire. But for Musk, money was never the goal. It was fuel. Fuel for something bigger. Next came X.com, an online banking platform. Most thought it was absurd. Who would trust the internet with their money? Elon did. He poured his Zip2 fortune into the idea. X.com would later merge with Confinity and become what we now know as PayPal. But Elon's brash style and ambitious vision clashed with others. In 2000, while he was on vacation, the board fired him as CEO. Another blow. Another betrayal. But he didn't quit. He stayed on as the largest shareholder. And in 2002, eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon made $180 million. He could have retired, bought an island, lived in luxury. But instead, he did something insane. He bet it all. Struggles and failures. With nearly his entire fortune, Elon Musk launched 3 companies: SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City. 3 industries. 1 man. An almost total disaster. Let's start with SpaceX. Elon believed humanity's future depended on becoming a multiplanetary species. He wanted to go to Mars. People laughed. They called him a joke. A spoiled rich kid playing astronaut. But he didn't care. He assembled a ragtag team. Built rockets from scratch. In 2006, the first rocket launch failed. Another failure. Third launch. Another explosion. SpaceX was burning through cash. Fast. He was weeks away from bankruptcy. At the same time, Tesla was on life support. Delays. Production issues. Funding drying up. The media called him a con artist. Investors fled. Even friends told him to give up. He didn't. He couldn't. Then came the moment of truth. SpaceX had enough money for one final launch. If it failed, everything was gone. September 28, 2008. The Falcon 1 rocket launched from a remote island in the Pacific. And this time, it worked. For the first time in history, a private company had launched a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. NASA took notice. Weeks later, they awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract. It saved the company. It saved Elon. But he still wasn't done. Tesla faced its own near-death experience. Musk poured his last dollars into the company. He slept on the factory floor. Micromanaged every detail. Refused to let Tesla die. Slowly, painfully, it began to work. The Model S launched in 2012 and was hailed as a revolution. Tesla wasn't just surviving. It was changing the game. But success came at a cost. Musk's personal life unraveled. 2 divorces. Public breakdowns. He admitted to working 120 hours a week. He battled depression. Isolation. Anxiety. Yet, he kept going. Because for Musk, the mission always mattered more than the man. Comeback. From 2015 onward, Elon Musk became not just a CEO, but a legend. SpaceX landed rockets back on Earth, something never done before. Reusable rockets slashed costs and changed the future of spaceflight. Tesla launched the Model 3. Faced with production hell, Musk again slept on the floor, built a tended assembly line, and made it work. By 2021, Tesla was the most valuable car company in the world. SpaceX was launching astronauts into orbit. He started the Boring Company. Neuralink. Starlink. Each more ambitious than the last. He became the richest man on Earth. And yet, he remained the same boy who once got beaten in school. Still dreaming of the stars. Legacy. Love him or hate him, Elon Musk is a force of nature. But there are things most people don't know. He reads 2 books a day. He taught himself rocket science by reading textbooks. He once lived on $1 a day to see if he could survive extreme poverty. His goals? Colonize Mars. Solve traffic. Build brain-computer interfaces. Power the world with clean energy. He doesn't just think big. He thinks like no one else. And while his methods may be extreme, his results are undeniable. Emotional closure. Elon Musk's story is not just about success. It's about resistance to failure. It's about facing humiliation, defeat, exhaustion, and standing back up every single time. He was bullied, broke, fired, mocked. And yet, he built rockets, electric cars, brain chips, and a dream that stretches all the way to Mars. Elon once said, "When something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor." That's the lesson. Not just for tech geniuses or billionaires, but for you. Your dreams matter. Your pain matters. And if you can endure the fire, you just might launch your own rocket into the stars. This isn't just Elon's story. It's yours.